Super Dapps and the future of DeFi.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kenny, and I can't operate the remote. Oh, never mind. You guys saw my presentation. So I think I kind of remember my first slide, which is an intro slide, which is oh, perfect. Here it is. So yeah, I think I'll start out with a little bit about me. My name is Kenny, like I said. I'm from Hawaii. It was quite a long trip to get from Honolulu to Ljubljana. And I'm really, really glad I did. You guys live in a beautiful city. We spent the day walking around the old town, and yeah, it's superb. So you guys are lovely hosts. This is an amazing venue, and I'm really excited to be here. My background is in economics, and I'm the founder of Cowrie Labs, which is a company that's building Shell Protocol. One thing we do in economics is we like to look at how industries change their shape in terms of what companies are doing what over time. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna look at today. So specifically, I'm gonna look at the shape of how smart contracts and decentralized applications, or dApps, are related to each other. So we spent, last two presenters gave some really excellent presentations about what's happening at the core protocol level, what's happening at the smart contract level for DeFi. And I want to talk a little bit about the interplay between like the user interface and the smart contracts. And the first step is, I think, to define a couple of terms. The first term I want to define is a monodApp. A monodApp is basically where for each underlying smart contract protocol, you have one user interface. So we have our, is this a pointer, laser pointer? Doesn't matter. So we have our user Alice, and if she wants to interact with a specific smart contract protocol, this one, that one, she goes to a specific front end, or dApp. So a monodApp is basically one front end for each underlying smart contract protocol. The next term I want to define is an Omni Dapp. Initially, I was calling these super dApps. Then Petter was like, super dApps, come on, man, that sounds like a cartoon. You got to pick a better word. So I'm workshopping Omni Dapp. So that's why in the Meetup it says super dApp, and that's why for now on they call it Omni Dapp. So please, if you really hate Omni Dapp, come tell me after this. I need that feedback. If you love Omni Dapp, also come tell me this. If you prefer super dApp, also let me know. Anyway, the substance is, instead of having one user interface per smart contract protocol, we have one user interface that spans to multiple smart contract protocols. So that's an Omni Dapp. And the next thing I want to talk about is, where did DeFi start? So DeFi started like back in the early days, say 2019. We really only had monodApps, which is one interface per smart contract. And the protocols that were around then that are still very, very relevant today include Uniswap, Compound, and OpenSea. And in all those cases, there's really just a front-end UI for the smart contracts. And not that user experience was ignored back then, but really the emphasis was just getting something to work in prod, because the technology was so new and so raw. And basically, like, end users were secondary, and user interface was like a wrapper for the underlying smart contract protocols. So where is DeFi now? So right now we're kind of in between a monodApp and an Omni Dapp paradigm. So we still have like monodApps. If you go to Curve or Aave, they're basically like wrappers for the underlying smart contracts. But we also have emerging Omni Dapps like DeFi Saver and Zerion. So DeFi Saver lets you manage multiple lending pool positions. Zerion is kind of a little more complicated. It lets you do a lot of different things all bundled together. The main idea is they try to bundle like features from multiple protocols into one interface. And even protocols like Uniswap and OpenSea that start out as mono dApps are gradually evolving kind of more into the Omni Dapp direction. So for example, like Uniswap purchased an NFT exchange, and if you go to the Uniswap app, you can buy NFTs as well as swapping tokens. OpenSea, through their C-Fort smart contract, lets you buy and sell NFTs using not just ETH, which is kind of the main asset that NFTs are listed in, but also using stable coins and pretty much any token you want. And so what's happening under the hood for OpenSea is that anytime you buy an NFT with a different asset other than ETH, is you're bundling together swapping through an AMM to get the token the user wants, and bundling together the NFT exchange. So that's where DeFi is right now. Where is it going to be in the future? Well, in short, more Omni Dapps, fewer Mono Dapps. And this is just a continuation of the last 4 years of DeFi's evolution. And one day, I contend that Omni Dapps are going to be the default, at least for a vast majority of users. Certainly for any mainstream adoption, it's going to be all Omni Dapps, not Mono Dapps. And to me, this is fairly clear that this trend is happening, and it's clear that there's no reason why this trend would stop. But the really interesting question is, like, why does this trend exist in the first place? Why are we transitioning from a Mono Dapp paradigm to an Omni Dapp paradigm? And basically it's like, why, that's the same question as asking, why are Omni Dapps better than Mono Dapps? So I think the short answer is basically it's a better user experience, but let's think about why. And first, I want to go back and look at these diagrams. So let's think about the use case where Alice, our user, wants to sell her NFT, but she doesn't want to get ETH, she wants to get Tether. So in a Mono Dapp framework, she has to first sell it on OpenSea, and then she gets her ETH. Then she goes to Uniswap to trade her ETH for, say, USDC, and then she goes to Curve to trade her USDC for Tether. So that means she has to go to 3 different protocols, open 3 different tabs on her browser, just to do a very simple thing. Now, in an Omni Dapp paradigm, she can list her NFT on Seaport for Tether, and then under the hood, when a user comes to buy it, that user's ETH is going to be swapped on Uniswap for USDC, and then it'll be routed through Curve for Tether. So we just took like what used to be 3 different applications, and we turned it into like one application. Well, we, not we, basically the OpenSea team. They're very smart. They did a great job. And so it's pretty easy to see, when you really think about it, why Omni Dapps are better for end users, which is basically it's way less effort, way less points of friction. You can automate the important steps, and you can create a user experience that's far more intuitive. So what are the challenges of building Omni Dapps? I think there's like 4 layers in this tech stack. At the bottom, you could say there's a smart contract composability, which is in order to build an Omni Dapp, it's not just that you got to integrate multiple smart contracts into one interface. As we saw from the previous example of selling your NFT for Tether, you have to compose atomically multiple smart contracts. And it's not a super hard problem, but it's also not an easy problem. The second thing is you got to index a lot of on-chain data. The more smart contracts you bring into your application, the more you got to index, the more situational awareness your app needs to be able to provide to users. Also, order routing is not trivial. So just simple like swap aggregation is not super easy. Just going from a USDC to ETH or going from ETH to a more esoteric token, like a lot of logic has to be built in order to find the most efficient path through that network. Both when you think about price impact, which is basically another way of saying where the most liquidity lies on which pairs, on which dexes, and then also on the gas cost side, because each swap isn't free from a gas standpoint. So it's not a trivial optimization problem. And then when you throw in a whole bunch of different DeFi protocols and smart contracts, it can potentially get even more complicated. So it's not a simple problem either. And the last problem, which in my opinion, I think this is, if not the hardest, I think it's the one that the least amount of work has been done. I think a lot of work has been done on smart contract composability, on indexing, on order routing. But when it comes to the user interface, the UI UX, I think very little work has been done on building a true Omni app like user experience. And I think the reason is, well, partially because where we started, right? Like we were just happy getting like something working. And so we built an interface that was pretty much a wrapper around the smart contracts. And it didn't really make sense to try and build an Omni app in the first place because like these other like three things weren't really mature. And so now that these three things are starting to become more and more mature and more robust, this is like the last step. And so what does this mean for builders? First of all, if you're building a mono dApp, you're going to be at an increasing disadvantage. Second of all, if you want to build a smart contract protocol, look to partner with Omni Dapps. So if you want to attract users to your platform, find a way to integrate your smart contracts with someone that has like multiple, already has an existing user base and already has like a bunch of features bundled together. On the other hand, if you are looking to build a dApp, a front end for users, you should be looking at integrating multiple smart contracts, bundling together their features into like a seamless user experience. Which brings me to Shell Protocol, which is what I'm working on. And basically, we are a smart contract platform that's able to compose a bunch of different protocols all across DeFi. And we're building currently a front-end application that's hopefully going to make the Omni app user experience a lot easier, a lot cleaner. Anyway, rather than explain to you how it works, I'll just show you like a quick demo. This is from Figma, so it's not live in production yet, but it soon will be in about a month or so. So in this example, basically what we're seeing, well, if it loads, is we're looking at what the user experience is going to be like if you want to migrate your token, say, from a Uniswap pool to a Curve pool. Does this computer have Wi-Fi? Anyway, basically, what's the user experience like migrating from a Uniswap pool to a Curve pool? So currently, if you want to do this, you gotta withdraw all of your Uniswap tokens on the Uniswap app. And if the tokens are different from what you were LPing in Uniswap versus what you want to LP in Curve, then you got to go and do a whole bunch of swaps. And then you got to go to the Curve app.
There's no Wi-Fi.
Oh, there's no Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
well,
sorry.
You guys will just have to imagine what it's like. See if we can go back. Okay, well, basically imagine, so this is like the user starting out with their Uniswap tokens. What happens next?
The video will not load. So.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just gonna describe it verbally. Sorry, guys. And then the user goes and changes their USDC input or output token to LP CRV, so their Curve token. And then it's basically the same as doing a swap after that. Come find me. My laptop has Wi-Fi. I can show you the video if you're really dying to see it. And oh, it's working. What do you know? The demo gods have smiled on me today. So that's the idea. And yeah, thank you guys very much for your time. And I'll see you guys in the mingling session.